Here is first of the 4 videos involving Generation 5 I'm gonna be uploading this month. Because let me tell you, you probably didn't expect me to upload 4 Generation 5 videos for Summerpalooza. But then again, this is Summerpalooza 2, and I want to do something great during the season of summer. And what a great way to start off by talking about Seaponies. Now, before any of you asks, I am aware that unicorns, Pegasus, and elf ponies, which is normal ponies, are gonna be part of Generation 5 by information, and they're gonna be separated into 3 different locations. But the more I think about it, we still don't know a whole lot when it comes to Generation 5, since that it's still in production as of right now. What I really actually think of what they're going to do for Generation 5 is save up the ideals and keep them for a surprise. Kind of like what they did with Generation 4 and how they completely separated most of the creatures in Equestria. Granted, Generation 5 won't be the same as Generation 4's Equestria, but I can just tell that it's going to be a lot more bigger than Generation 4's Equestria. Here's one of the reasons onto why I think that sea ponies are going to be the lost creatures. With the idea that 3 types of ponies are going to be separated from each other, I can guarantee you that the sea ponies are going to spend most of their lives underwater, which of course they do because they're also hippogriffs. But considering that they really are far away from the other creatures, especially that they were in Generation 4, but not that far when it comes to the map itself, I honestly think that they're probably going to do something interesting with the sea ponies when it comes to the introduction. Now, before any of you ask, is most of my predictions similar to how they introduced sea ponies in Generation 4, where they completely hide because of the attack from the Storm King's army? Well, kind of, but at the same time, they were not really lost. They just had to evacuate because they can't face off the Shadow King. Because after his army was completely done and over with, they completely split free around in Season 8 and onwards. So, my predictions on saying that being the lost creatures is honestly my opinions on what I actually see when it comes to sea ponies completely camouflaging themselves in the outside world. Granted, they don't have a reason to hide if they return in Generation 5 actually, but in my opinion, I think that they're probably going to do something interesting because sea ponies the first appearance was in the MLP movie, and it came to an end at Season 9, which was they only had 2 years of screen time in Friendship is Magic, and they're not even the main characters, other than Silverstream, Princess Skystar, in the movie and in Season 8 and 9. Here's something that I've also noticed. In the older generations, Hasbro actually made sea ponies, or different names of creatures, what they call in the earlier seasons, and they probably did a good job on how they can easily form ponies into sea horses in the old generations. Granted, it's a completely different story on how Generation 1 was like before Generation 4 became popular, but at the same time, sea ponies appealed way before Generation 2. So I honestly think that we might be able to see them again, since that they might have since that they're gonna try to make Generation 5 more adults and stuff like that. Here's something that I can actually see what they can do with the sea ponies. Like I mentioned, they're going to have them as this lost creatures, but at the same time, they're gonna be in a really far distant sea ocean place where no one can actually find where they at. In the show, Mount Alice, or Seacrustia, is not really that far away, and it's not even part of an ocean. I mean, it is part of an ocean, but the home is also a land as well, despite the fact that they had to evacuate underwater. What give me the knowledge of what the sea ponies or hippogriffs are gonna be doing in season 5 will probably be a separate island, and actually have the hippogriffs stay on it, while also the sea ponies stay on the water. Maybe the same. I know it's the same ideals, but they might add some changes depending on what Generation 5 is gonna be like. I just really like Sequestria to the point that I'm actually kind of disappointed that it didn't get another episode other than the season 8 episode Surf or Turf or whatever you call it. If there's one thing that I'm not sure if that will return in Generation 5 when it comes to the sea pony counterparts, is the hippogriffs themselves. I'm not saying that I have nothing against the hippogriffs whatsoever, but the thing is, since this is probably the first time we see hippogriffs in My Little Pony in any generation, from my knowledge, I honestly think that the hippogriffs are basically addition to Generation 4's creativity. I'm not sure if hippogriffs will return next, because even if I mention about the lands that they can go on, I honestly think they might be able to do something a lot more different when it comes to sea ponies completely staying underwater and just stay underwater and not have their abilities to change into their flying form. Generation 4 did this idea just so that Princess Skystar and Silverstream can help the main characters in the show and movie. So when I actually think about what they're going to do without using the hippogriffs, instead of just leaving them as sea ponies at that, I honestly think that they're probably going to add some more development on what they do underwater. I understand people may not like my idea, but I honestly think that hippogriffs are basically Generation 4's exclusive ideals for creatures. So I'm honestly think that's probably why Generation 4 is probably only going to have hippogriffs and not actually have them be part of Generation 5. Here's something that I actually think that Generation 4 that should keep the creatures involving hippogriffs, so that we can actually see that hippogriffs are basically the exclusive to Generation 4. Whether if you like it or not, I honestly think that's probably one of the reasons, because they did sea ponies in the past, they returned them in Generation 4, and now I'm given the idea that the fact that they got so much people and fans with a growing fan base, they're probably going to try everything to make Generation 5 interesting with some of the creatures. And I haven't even talked about all of them. The Changelings, the Breezelies, the flies things that appear in the Fluttershy episode from Season 4, and others that I'm still having plans on making videos of. I honestly think that having the sea ponies return, even with some of the changes, is something I actually want to happen. And even if they need an introduction, I just really hope that it happens in the first or second season of Generation 5's show, if the movie turn out a success next year. As far as I'm concerned, I really like sea ponies to the point that ever since they were introduced, I actually adore them, and that's one of my favorite things I've watched from the movie. And I'm actually disappointed that they didn't get a lot to do in the newer episodes of season 8 and 9. So what else do I have to say? Well, if they're not going to introduce sea ponies in Equestria and probably do something different similar to underwater ideals, I might be able to accept it. And but I think that they probably need to do a lot of development than what they did in the movie involving the sea ponies evacuating underwater because of the army from the Storm King. But then again, we honestly don't know what's going to happen. The movie made the sea ponies really interesting, and I just really hope that Generation 5 does the same. I know full well that because of the marketing that the sea ponies have sold in stores, I'm pretty sure that Generation 5 might be able to do something when it comes to the show and movie. Granted, there's going to be a lot of changes with the movie, but I'll go talk about that at the end of this month when I upload my final part of my Generation 5 videos of this month. Because believe me, the Generation 5 movie is gonna be a lot more complicated than I think about it, especially of how it's going to impress people like us to get into the new generation of MLP, especially the jump to 2D, 3D. But I'm gonna get to that in the very next video of this series. I'm Lonely Fanboy for here, and I'll see you guys next time, because there's still so much in Summerpalooza 2 in this month.